Okay, so welcome everybody. And we have some extra exciting stuff to share today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. Today, let's see. Okay, now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so do you see the slide or do you see the whole screen?
At this point in time, just see the slide. So the presentation hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay. So, okay, good. Fine. Let's get into it then. Okay. Today we're going to have a time travel. We're going to be flying into the year 2035 and beyond. So you guys need to buckle up your seatbelts because it's going to be exciting. I mean, when I was preparing for this presentation, I was dumbfounded by the stuff that I found out, because I'm like, where have you been? How come you didn't know about this? And guys, you guys are so lucky being in Africa. You have no idea. By the end of this presentation, you will know what I mean. Okay, so we're going to be talking about innovators contributing to the success stories in Africa, which is going to be coming up very quickly. This is like 12 years from now, basically. So it's basically in no time they're going to be showing up. So I'm going to show you a picture of the potentials, and mostly it's going to be related in a single sector. But let's get started. So I need to introduce you with, did I switch the slide? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you able to make it bigger?
Okay, that's, I need to.
You could.
I should get rid of the menu down here. Okay.
If you can get rid of that menu part.
Yeah.
By that little arrow over to the, there you go.
Okay.
There.
So. Yeah,
now it's looking good.
Oh, oops. Yeah, I think right now. So, okay, so I'd like to introduce you to Namdi Oranje. And I ran into him while doing research about innovation in Africa. This guy is born in London and he was raised in Nigeria, and he got his engineering degree in electronics from Botswana University. And then he had a graduate work in Australia in telecommunication industries. So until then, he's an average guy. At the age 26, a friend of his offers him a job that lets him roam around the African continent. And while he's doing that, he sees so many innovators in Africa from different areas of life. And he's impressed with what he finds. So he starts writing a book. It's The Rise and Rise of Innovation in Africa. And he compiles all these different bits of innovation stories in an encyclopedia called Disrupting Africa Encyclopedia. It's like a Wikipedia, but it's only consisting of innovation stories. So this guy uses math, statistics, anthropology, and technological trends, cultural trends, to forecast the future of Africa. And he's been nominated among the 100 most influential names in Africa's telecom, media, and ICT industry by AfricaCom 100 Research Board. And he was also named, recognized as the most influential people of African descent in media and culture by the United Nations in 2018. So he's not just a nobody. I mean, he's not the only person in the world studying African innovation, but he's a notable guy. Anyway, so relying on his numbers, I'm going to give you a picture of Africa. Here we go. By the year 2025, 40% of world's working population will be in Africa. Imagine the whole world, 40% will be working in Africa, living in Africa. I mean, it's almost half the world population will be living in Africa by 2035. 35% of 100 largest cities in the world will be in Africa. That's more than a third of 100 largest cities in Africa. Seven of these mega cities will be in Nigeria, and Lagos will be the largest by the year 2100. I mean, imagine New York or, you know, Hong Kong or whatever, all the largest cities. I mean, not physically maybe, but Hong Kong is, yeah, gone now. Anyways, but like Lagos will be the largest city in the world by 2100. That is interesting, at least. Yoruba will be the most sought after language, not English, Yoruba. Brazil made Yoruba its official second language to be taught at schools. Now, what does all that mean to us, to you? What does all that mean? Okay, so what? Well, that means impressive, massive change for Africa. That's number one. I mean, Africa is going through this transformation to become from the caterpillar towards the butterfly, and we are observing, witnessing it right now. Now, what does that have to do with innovation? Let's just stop for a while and let's go back to innovation. Innovation has two sides, right? There is the supply of innovation and demand of innovation. And the innovators are the guys who see the need in the market, and they come up with the technology, they come up with the business model, all the gathering of the people to bring the product to the market, to launch it. But without the customers, it means nothing. So it's two-sided. So in order for innovation to be diffused to the market, we need customers, demanders of innovation. So this bell-shaped curve, if you have taken any statistics classes, you probably remember the Z table and this bell-shaped curve and all that. But it means it actually shows how innovation is being accepted in the market. Now, if the whole shape, the whole bell shape represents the whole population, let's say, from the left-hand side, the 2.5% are the innovators. Those are the guys who set up their tents right in front of the Apple store when Apple launches its next 13th version of the iPhone, right? Because these guys, they need to get that thing before anyone else does, right? And they don't care. The only thing they care about is they want this technology right when it's launched, right when it's introduced to the market. The early adopters wait a little bit more, and they're comfortable with the glitches, the little bugs and things in the technology. They're perfectly all right with that. But they don't need to set up a tent in the middle of I mean, in front of the store at the time of the product launch. The early majority are those that kind of take their time. They wait a little bit until those little glitches are fixed, the little bugs are fixed in the technology. The late majority, that's the 34%, the second 34%, they need to be more confident that this technology works. They don't really want to, you know, tolerate those mistakes or the little things that don't work. I mean, even Microsoft has problems still with Office, and they keep updating, but the late majority wants to have the technology as mature as possible. The laggards, the 15%, the laggards are the ones who really don't want to change their phones. They're happy with the old thing, whatever it is. They want to hold on to the old. They don't want to let go. But the technology is so incompatible now with what's going on in the market, so they need to let go. That's the thing. That's why they're called the laggards. They're like coming from behind kind of thing. It's like catching up. So if you go back to the diffusion curve, the first 2.5%, since there's 1.2 billion people in Africa, the first 2.5% makes the 30 million people who should be ready to use the technology, who are waiting to, please, 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 let's use this technology, whatever it is, the innovation, whatever innovation is coming up. So disrupting Africa is claiming that there's going to be at least 30 million people who will be using the new technologies, the new innovative products coming into the market. Okay. Now, let's stop there and go back. If we're going to have almost half of the world's working population living in Africa by 2035, that means there's going to be a lot of people. The demand for food is going to increase. And the 2022 Africa Agriculture Status Report claims the food imports bill is going to double. It could double by 2030. That's only, well, it says 8 years. In 8 years' time, now it's 7 years. And Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, that's the place where I'm citing this from. They say 40 to 70 billion investment, so 70 billion US dollars of investment is needed from the public sector, and $80 billion investment is required from the private sector to sustain the food production on the continent. Okay, that's just a number, okay? So what does that mean? That means there's impressive, massive opportunity for food production. And here we go. First story, Dr. Daniel Masaba. This guy is a medical doctor. He actually became a medical doctor. And then he became a chicken farmer. He says, my parents couldn't get it. My parents said, are you crazy? And everyone was asking me, how can you do this? And he said, I'm going to be earning much more, which he's saying he already has started earning much, much more than what he would be doing. And he's much happier to do this. So chicken farming, poultry, demand for poultry products is skyrocketing. And this doctor is turning into a farmer. That's story number one. Here's another one, Farmer Line. Farmer Line is a company from Ghana, and it provides all sorts of things for farmers in Africa. They call it Amazon for farmers in Africa. And the story of Aloysius, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. His dad was a teacher and his mom was a trader, and he had an aunt who had a small scale farmer. She was raising maize, producing maize. And he says all kids in Africa, like they go to school and then after school they go help with the farm. Even though they want to play with their friends, they have to go and they're expected to do that. And he was doing that as a kid. And then growing up, they found out there was oil, and his father in the country, oil was discovered, and his father and uncle was hoping that he would work in the oil industry. And when they were choosing the degree, the thing he was going to study in college, they saw the word renewable natural resources, and they thought it would get him a degree to get employed in the oil industry. And he went to study renewable natural resources, but it turned out to be forestry. It turned out to be agriculture, and he was studying all this stuff. And it didn't really make him that happy. So he had to make a thesis, and he started collecting data for this thesis. And he was talking to farmers, because at the time he had this idea that if farmers could get information about weather forecasts, about how to raise crops and whatever, that would help farm production, the increasing yields, stuff like that. But while he was talking to the farmers, he realized that he needs to create more value and earn trust. He needs to make an impact. And he saw just an SMS was not sufficient for the farmer to listen to him. And he said, well, I need to get some human connection, audio files. And eventually, Farmerline became a provider of seed, fertilizers, financing, training, crop management, information, post-harvesting. There's a lot of information over there. And the farmer in Africa are women. And these women, they can't own the title of their land because most of the time, husbands have the titles. Therefore, women cannot go to the bank to ask for credit to pay for the fertilizer, the seed, and all the whatnot, the tractors or whatever. So it's a vicious cycle. And because of the social structure of the society, a farmer, when he dies, if he has 40 kids, then each kid gets a portion of the land, and each kid gets like 1/40 of an acre. That makes the land smaller and smaller, which means it's very difficult to get a lot of money from land. But Memunatu Salifu in Ghana, she was using Farmerline, and she actually raised her farm from 2 acres to 3 acres because she was able to pay 50% cost of her seeds, fertilizers, agrochemical stuff at the time when before harvest, that is, and she was able to pay the 50% of it after the harvest. She got the financing for all that through Farmerline. So now, this is my favorite story. I need you to get to know Emma Naluyima. She's a millionaire farmer, and she only has 1 acre. 1 acre. But what she's doing is, to say the least, amazing. She's doing integrated farming. Now, what is integrated farming? Oh, by the way, there is a trending thing with all these innovators. And if you remember the previous seminar, We were talking about William, the boy who harnessed the wind, who was able to make a windmill in the middle of nowhere. His mother was praying. His mother was saying, nobody's going to marry you because you're hanging out in the junkyard. And everybody was calling him, he's mad, you know. And same thing over here. Emma, when she wanted to become a farmer, her mother was praying for her because people were thinking she was mad. With all the risk she's taking, this is a, you know, insane kind of thing, people were saying. So this idea of the, see over here, innovators are passionate visionaries. So there must be something that's calling them to this work. Otherwise, everybody is calling them mad, crazy, insane, yet they do it. So same thing over here. What she does is she says she had only 1 acre of land, and she divided the land into 4 pieces, okay, 4 quarters. So in 1 quarter, she has the pigs, and the pigs produce dung. In the pig dung, she lets the pig dung just lay there for, and when you have pig dung, of course, flies come, right? Flies come, she says, they lay their eggs, and I just let it like that for 6 to 8 hours. After 6 to 8 hours, what she gets is chicken feed. Chicken feed, high protein chicken feed, free, and she feeds the maggots to the chickens. So after that, she takes worms, she puts the worms in the pig dung, because she calls the pig dung her gold mine. The worms eat the dung and they produce excretion. The excretions of the worms is so valuable. She uses them in her farm as fertilizer, and she also sells it in the market at very, very high prices. Next, she says she has cattle in the 2nd quarter. And while other people are using charcoal and wood to burn in their use as fuel for their ovens, she says, I'm using the dung from the cattle and I'm putting it in this airtight structure where biofuel gas is produced. And with that gas, she's cooking. Not finished. This is free, by the way. She's also contributing to less trees to be cut, right? Next, the biofuel gas production has a byproduct, and it's this thing. It's pretty yucky looking, but it's a very high yield manure for the farm. This is also free. At school, she says, they learned red soil was bad soil. So the fertile soil was black soil, but her land had red soil. And everyone said, you can't grow anything in red soil. But she says, I'm growing matoki. By the way, I didn't know what matoki was, but I think it's a form of banana. I hope one day I can eat it when I go to Africa. Anyway, Emma claims she's the best matoki farmer in Uganda because her fertilizer is the urine from the cows. She collects the urine of the cows. She's using it for free. to raise the matoki. Next, she has fish. Now, the water that the fish is being produced in, of course, has the fish dung. That's what she calls it, fish dung in it. Now, that water, when she uses it to water the plants, there's ammonia in the water. Ammonia is absorbed by the plants. She says she can grow 4,800 kilograms of tomatoes in 6 months, which is $2,700 US. Not finished. She also does soilless farming. And this feed that she produces is for 100 pigs, 25 cows, and 1,500 chickens. This is free stuff she's producing. And she says, when I feed this to my chickens, with the maggots as well, they produce yellow yolk eggs, which she sells at the highest price in the market. Not finished. We're not finished. With the income she was able to generate from the farm, she and her husband set up this primary school. And the curriculum is teaching agriculture, hands-on experience. These kids are raising their own vegetables, fruits, whatever they know. They're learning how to work on land, all the techniques. And she says, yes, that's what they're doing, but the values that we are underlying is time management, value of money, and culture of serving the community. These are so important for any place in the world. I wish we had such primary schools in Turkey. And she says, a 10-year-old, in only 3 months, with the information that he gets from the school, is able to make this structure at his father's place. And a 10-year-old grows this stuff, the stuff that you're seeing in the screen now, and able to take the produce, sell in the market, generate income for the family. If this is not miraculous, what is? So I think Africa is being reborn, and it's mind-blowing, all the opportunities that Africa is proposing to the world right now. That's all I have to say. So now I'm going to stop sharing screen and I'm going to take a look at the chat. We have so many stuff here, and I had not had a chance to look at the chat. So I'm going to go back to the very beginning, hopefully. Oops, there's a lot of them. Okay, so I request you to reshare me your email. Okay, yes, I will do that. My email here, I'm sharing with everyone. Elif Kalayci 11 at yahoo.com. Okay, so oops, was I able to do that? Yeah. Okay, let me go back.
I can see everybody can see your email in chat. Yes.
Okay, great. So I think I got Oscar's command. Very interesting. Thank you. But it is unbelievable, and I was mind blown when I was going through all this information, because there's so much money to make in Africa right now, and it's so available to everyone. This is just, you know, imagine a doctor leaving his medical practice and becoming a chicken farmer. The information is just wow. It's doable. First time you shared on 19 May 2020, I misquoted to write it down and try to have access to other officials, but unfortunately they were unable to share me. Oh, I'm sorry, that email address again. Okay, interesting. Oh, Samuel visited Naluyima's farm. Wow. Integrated farming in Uganda. Wow.
Samuel, I am asking you to unmute your microphone and tell us about
Yes, yes.
talk to us. Tell us about your
Yes.
experience. What did you learn?
Yeah. First of organizations called the Foundation for Development of Needy Communities. And I have a farm which is integrated in Bale. So I have been quite interested in visiting and picking a lot of lessons and picking brains of people who are doing the same. So I visited Naluima's farm in Entebbe, and I was amazed by the amount of activities that is managed within the farm. I was amazed with the piggery. I was amazed with the poultry. I was amazed with the agriculture programs that are on the farm. And there are so many people in the country, including the president of Uganda, who recommends many people to visit and draw lessons from that farm. I picked a lot of interest and I picked a lot of lessons. I have also started something similar within Mbale. Mbale is in the eastern part of Entebbe. Entebbe is actually 5 hours drive from to Mbale. So I have learned a lot from Naluima's farm, and it is amazing. So it's
Oh, it looks like we lost a connection there.
Well, at least we got confirmation that it's real.
Yes. I want to ask if it's still 1 acre. I would imagine she has more land now because she's being so productive.
I don't know, but oh, there's Lerato. My family does some of these, but to a small scale, except for corn farming. We have chicken, and I'm going to practice what I've learned today. If you could get in touch with Emma Naluyima or Farmerline, the information that they share, I think, is very valuable. Like, but you can also learn integrated farming from online, probably. But the school is the most interesting to me, the primary school. If you can only, like in 3 months, a 10-year-old can learn how to farm, yeah, I'm just, at a loss of words. Yes, people have some questions.
Yeah, we go to Charles Nyame. Hello, Charles. Good day to you.
Okay, yeah, good day. That was an interesting presentation and very real.
Yes.
The problem has always been stabilization and security.
Mm-hmm.
And bigger countries in the West or in Europe are fighting migration crisis. But all these would be lessened if Africa is stable and secured, and people can farm, without, being killed or displaced. But you see, it's a huge problem, this issue of security. And that is the biggest challenge, in this venture. So I don't know how the bigger countries or the Western countries, especially through the reduction of production of arms, or seeing how arms, get freely, into these places to cause displacement, how they could do to help Africa, stable, so that the issue of migration crisis could also be addressed.
That's definitely a very important point. But if at least one person can do this integrated farming in one little section, what amazed me was women doing the farming. It's mostly women, and they don't have the title of their land because it belongs to the husband, and husband is doing his work out there. So woman with the child at the back is doing all the work on her own. Yet, with the advance of the technology, with information technology, women can have extra information, extra access to places that she didn't have access before. So she now has access to credit line, and she now has access to more knowledge. There is information, trustable information, not only just, any kind of information. It's trustworthy information from dependable sources, and they can get financing. That's very, very important right over there. So I'm not saying, oh, it's so easy. No, I know there's issues, a lot serious issues, but these numbers, the incredible growth potential in Africa, it's mind-blowing. You guys are so lucky to be in Africa at this time in history. The opportunities are, sky's the limit. That's it. So I'm just showing you yourself from Turkey. And for me, it's a big hope. So we are being more integrated. And I hope one day I can come and visit you guys over there.
Okay, let's go to Lumbai Ilunga. Good day to you, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, and how are you?
Good.
Dr. Lambert. Yeah, I'm so glad to listen to this topic of today. So my question, it's not a question, it's something that's for myself actually. I started poultry. I had some few chickens, so the layers. And then the problem that I have at the moment, because I'm living in South Africa, so the problem I have is the land problem, because my chickens are they laying an egg a day, so to have a tray, maybe a tray, so I have some few eggs. So the land is a problem, and so how must I do so that to grow my stuff well? And then another thing I wanted to say, if people are immigrating to overseas or some other places out of Africa, it's just because of colonization. You see, those people, they colonized Africa, and then they doing things that it was not supposed to be done. Like they took everything, and then we following with the we can see life is, you see. So let's say you have to follow where the life is all the time. That's why people are dying on the sea and all those stuff of kind of things. So if we have a balanced world, I think Africa as well will do better. That's what I have to say about that.
Lumbai, I don't know how to raise chicken, right? I don't. But what I realized in all these innovation stories, the guy, Maraba, I can't remember his first name, but the chicken farmer turned from a doctor. He's a medical farmer. Nalima is a veterinarian. And these people are not your regular farmers, okay? So these people have significant knowledge accumulated. And even though they're not practicing medicine or vets information or whatever, practicing animal, taking care of animals and stuff, what they're doing is you can get in touch with these people and you can learn. You can learn. They have YouTube channels. If I were you, I would take the presentation, I would take the names, I would get in touch with these people because they are giving out the information freely in YouTube. They have their
Okay.
channels. That's their passion. They want to give this information to people because they want to set as an example. I did it and you can do it too. And the market is crazy. There's so much demand for food. They need to cut down on the import. That's why I gave the import bill is going to be doubling by 2030. So yes, you can be an engineer. Yes, you can be a doctor, but there's more money-making opportunity in chicken farming, in agriculture, which is, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, but it is. It doesn't require to, go get a degree in robotics. And if you want to do that, fine. But if you have passion for this kind of work, then you don't need to migrate anywhere. There's money. These people made money with this. Then you can do it too. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so very much.
All right, let's go to Ahmad Sharif. I'll ask you to unmute your microphone. Let's see if you can try that again. Try again, Ahmad Sharif, to unmute your microphone.
Are you hearing me?
There you go.
Okay. I have one. Thank you for having me. I have one question and I have some areas to comment on. My number one question is, can you please explain more about the division of innovation theory? The other aspect I want to talk about is Emma School in Uganda. When we are talking about food security, even if WHO or UN pour a lot of money in food security, we can never survive. And Africa alone can produce all the food we need in the world. I can look at when the war broke out in Ukraine, we had food shortage in the world. We are in Africa, our soil is so fertile. I can take example with my country, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, before the war, all household in the villages, even in the big towns, we have gardens, the backyard gardens that can give us potato leaves, even garden eggs, pepper. We cannot buy all these things. But as the war came to an end, now we have lost the labor force. There's no more labor force in the villages, neither in the cities. The youth, they are only engaged in, today they invest, tomorrow they get money. What this means, they only want to make money today, not preparing for the future. You see, if we are going like this, even if you import a whole lot of money in Africa, food security problem will still be there. And the other area again is the empowerment of women in agriculture. If women are more empowered, we can get a better food production than even men, because they are consistent in anything they are doing, and they are there to take care of the family. But if they are not empowered, it will be very, very difficult for us to survive. The other question again is, how innovation is it related to the future? This is my last question. Thank you.
Okay, Ahmed, when you say, can you explain more about the diffusion of innovation?
Diffusion of innovation theory.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to it. Basically, the guys who come up with an idea, with a product, with a service, okay, those guys, they propose something. But if it's not bought by the market, if people do not start using it and paying for it, and if the circulation of money doesn't happen, then it's not going to be going into the market. It takes time for the technology to turn into a product, then to be accepted by the consumers, then to be a little bit improved, because it's not working in its best shape. Nothing is born in its perfect form. So it takes time for the market to adapt. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm here with you.
Oh, so that's why only a handful of people first start accepting it, and then more people start using it. So it takes time, and eventually it hits the market where the market accepts it. But after a while, it gets old and it becomes an old product. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's how it's diffused to the market. It doesn't happen instantly like that. It takes people, passionate people, to chase the product, to own them, to use them even at their worst prototype version. But then the early adopters come, they say, oh, okay, I think this works, and I'm willing to use it with its faults and mistakes. So it's like a handshake at different stages by different people. The prototype requires a different set of people handshaking. The better version, the beta version, requires a different set of people handshaking. And the number of people keeps increasing. That's how the diffusion takes place. Empowerment of women, I think that's why she started a school, a primary school. Instead of going to college, Naluyima went all the way to primary school. It's going to take time. It doesn't happen. This is empowerment of women. Even in Turkey, we're not empowered. Men are dominant. But that doesn't mean I wasn't able to get a college degree. I wasn't able to get a PhD. There are people who can do it. And they need to speak up. And that's how it's going to happen. There's other people that I didn't have time to introduce you, but there are a lot of women farmers who are succeeding, and they're not really promoting themselves. Maybe if you could look into all these stories, you'll see their power is increasing. They are being empowered, because it's going to take at least 10 years from the primary school but to the time, they get to high school, or their productive years will start. So I'm sorry, what was the other question? You had 4 questions.
The other question was the future in relation to innovation.
It's so bright. I was amazed. Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy, but nobody is talking about Turkey being the star of the world in 2035. But this is Africa, the whole continent. It's going to be the jewel of the world. 40% of the working population. And this guy saying this has been recognized as 100 most influential people by United Nations in 2018. So this guy is not a nobody. So you need to open your eyes, and you need to look on the bright side of the things, not at the colonialism, not at the worst case scenarios and people migrate. Yes, I know we have migration issues too. Syrian people are coming to Turkey. Turkish people are saying, hey, we don't want this. But Turkish people went to Germany, and German people didn't want Turkish people. There's going to be all sorts of clashes, but people will survive. We will get together. We will be integrated. We will forget our differences, and we will unite. We have to, because we're the same. We got noses, we got ears, we're all the same. We're all human. That's what we need to embrace.
I'd like to just say one thing right now, that Elif Kalayci is just showing the agricultural potential in this presentation, right?
Yeah.
What other types of potential would you be presenting in future classes?
Oh, there's healthcare. Healthcare is #1 for Africa. Finance, education. Education is coming big time. Oh, there's so many more. I just have to choose. This is only one. Agriculture is only one. And ICT, information and communication technologies. I don't know. I mean, this is just right off the bat. But there is the incredible opportunities are out there. It only depends on your passion. Where lies your passion? That is the question, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed Sharif.
You're
Let's go
welcome.
to Frank Fieri.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wow, all right. Yeah. So it's just the same thing that the one has just said. Yeah, like Africa, most of the times in Africa, people think that when they go to school, they will have, yeah, they will be employed with the bigger companies and they will uh, have more salaries and yes, and other benefits. So they don't even think of like farming or doing something different from what they did. But I think this is also another thing that we need to think of. Innovation has just come in time, and innovation I'm seeing like it's something that is very important. And if we adopt this, I think Africa cannot be the same. And if we change our mind, I think things will go well with us. Because even if you go to school and get a degree, degree, master's, PhD, that cannot help if you don't have, if you don't change your mind. I think we need to change our mind because sometimes again people do not do something what they did not do or they do not want to do because of fear of unknown, not only finances or not security, but because of the fear of unknown. People just fear that, okay, if I do this and fail, what will people say? And what will people think about me? So people don't want others to mock at them, don't want to see them like behind others. So they don't want to do something different from what others are doing. They always want to do what others are doing. So they don't even think of doing something different. I think that's what people like in Africa think of. And they go to outside Africa, it's just because they want to like to find things. I mean, they go to outside Africa for just to find greener pasture, but not that like because of the security reasons. No, security yes, but I don't think it's the number one thing.
Frank, I think you have a point there, but it's not limited to Africa. Anybody is afraid of being mocked by people. And that's a common thread that I see in every innovation story. That's why mothers are praying. That's why mothers are trying to pull their kids back to the common path. Don't be the black sheep. Don't be the outlier. They want to protect their kids. But if you're visionary, then you can break that spell and you can say, look, I want to be different and I can do this and I don't care about what people are saying because it's doable. And if you can read more stories of innovators, entrepreneurs, leaders, that's how you can overcome the fear. That's the main factor. If you go back to the emotional innovation thing, the seminar we did, exactly that's what we're hitting on, the fear factor. But you need to overcome that fear. And that's what success is, overcoming fear as far as innovation is concerned.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to comment.
You're right. I agree.
Thank you.
Who should we go to next?
We will go to Richie Adewusi. Let me ask you to unmute your microphone, Richie. Do you have it? There
Thank
you go.
you so very much.
Good day
Thank
to
you
you.
so very much, Dr. Elif. Elif, sorry, I'm very sorry, and Dr. Lambert. Very, very insightful presentation. Some of the things I want to raise and questions I want to ask have been touched on, from one or two previous presenters. But I want to comment on the last bit about the issue of mocking. If you are afraid of being mocked, you can never get anything done. Okay, you can never get anything done. Even being in this school, particular school, I'm sure learning online, some people will ask you, "Are you crazy? Are you sure it's real? Is this? Are you even sure the school is the real school?" So if you are afraid of doing some things that people are not doing like regularly, you won't get anything done. That's one. That's by the way. Then I like the presentation that it is on agriculture, and I also like the talk that Africa is the center. Africa has been the center for like forever, but unfortunately, what takes, this is not being racial in any way. We're speaking globally now. Somebody had mentioned the issue of security earlier. Okay, we touched on it briefly, but I'll go back to it because we are talking agriculture. My question around security and migration. Okay, they are linked to the issue of Africa. Now, the farmers, where I come from originally, presently I live in Canada. I come from Nigeria, okay? And I come from a state in Nigeria that's an agrarian state, okay? And what that means is that originally they're farmers and hunters. But we have become so academically inclined. My state is known as the state with the largest number of professors in Nigeria. But we don't have a single industry in that state. Everybody studies, gets a degree, goes to bigger cities to go to work, develop those places. We've neglected agriculture until maybe very recently. Unfortunately, in the past 6-10 years, the problems of violence, insecurity has driven people away from the farm, has driven people away from the country. I am where I am now because of security issues, not because I do not have what to do back home. Okay, so that analysis about Nigeria, about Africa being where is projected to be in this, that is quoted in this study, I am not sure that the people who conducted those studies factored in the issues of security and migration. People are living for fear of lives, for fear of threat to life, not so much. There are those who are living for economic reasons. I still remain with where I know. In Nigeria, we have become used to being our own producers of electricity energy. And I'm talking the individuals. We have become used to being the producers of our own water supply. Okay, some communities are gotten used to getting together to take care of the roads that's within their community. Okay, you are talking about people really get to do things by themselves, neglecting or forgetting that there's a government. But the problem of insecurity, okay, individuals cannot handle them. Even those communities cannot handle them. So if maybe I don't know, I look for the study. I don't think that the issue of security is factored in. And if it wasn't, that study cannot stand, I mean, the test of the time that is, because most people would have left Africa. Nobody will be on the farms. Okay, when you talk about Boko Haram in the northeast of Nigeria, nobody goes to the farms around there. Okay, so what do you think, ma'am, in your presentation? Because I stayed with agriculture. Okay, the impact of security challenges and migration challenges in respect of the data you have shared with us.
First of all, I'm not sharing data. I'm sharing statistics. That's number one. And I'm also sharing the references, the citations, where I'm getting them from, so you can find them and go and check. Because if they're lying, then it's not my lies, it's their lies. And the information that I'm getting are case study stories. And these are from Uganda, from Ghana, not from Nigeria. So there are differences in countries, of course. And I cannot know it that much. I'm not a local, but I get this information from the internet, and I bet these people are not lying. Like Naluyima, Samuel, I think his name was Samuel, he said he visited the farm. So in Uganda, it's possible and it's done. Yes, it's a single farm, but maybe by now there are other farms in Uganda copying what she is preaching. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying everybody has to farm. I'm not saying it's possible to farm when your life is at stake. That's not what I'm saying. So I understand when your security, when you're dealing with security issues, of course, you want to save your life. I understand that. But the cases that I'm citing are real. They're not made up. And it depends where we're seeing these case studies. If this is possible in certain areas in Africa, then in those areas, replication of the same story is pretty possible. That's all I'm saying. And if you have not had the chance to hear these stories, I'm bringing these stories just as a reminder of things that can be done. I'm not saying, oh, why don't you guys do it? I'm not saying there's no food security or migration problems. There is a lot of migration problems. Like in Turkey, we had an earthquake. It killed 40,000 people. Wiped out the whole Southeast. And these people, when they lost their homes, they had to migrate to the rest of the country. And this is not security. This is just natural disaster. So it happens. But I understand. And I'm not saying, oh, why aren't you guys in Nigeria doing farming? That's not what I'm saying. But in Uganda and in Ghana, those are the farmer line is from Ghana, and Emma Naluyima is from Uganda. So as an outsider, this is an information that I was able to reach and provide to your attention. That's all I'm saying. I don't have solutions for security. How can I propose a solution for, this is a major issue.
It is.
But there are good examples not to be ignored. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you very much. I get that. I get
Okay.
that.
Thank you so much, Richie Adewusi. Now we go to Dr. Caleb Magutu.
Hello.
Hello. Good day to you.
Hi.
How are you?
Are you getting me? Hello.
Yes.
You are getting me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. I'm talking from Kenya, a country in East Africa. First, I want to thank you, Madam, for this wonderful and captivating presentation. It has really touched me. And then I'm not really asking a question, but I want to address my brothers and sisters in Africa. When we talk about war, war, it is ours. And it is us who can stop the war. But if we are going to run away because there is a war, and then start blaming people, then we are not going anywhere. The best thing we need to do, let us talk to ourselves. This is our Africa, and we need peace. And then we innovate ways of making people to have the urge to create peace. For instance, in our academic curriculums, we need to integrate an element of peaceful, loving, and coexistence. For instance, in Israel, we realize that every young person goes for a military training, not to fight, but for self-defense and to protect each and every person. So in our curriculum, let us come up with our curriculum where we can change the minds of our brothers and sisters so that they can embrace peace. Because like when I was listening to my two brothers, it's like we're crying to the world, to the Western world. Please come and help us. But war, it is ours. It is us to stop it. Not by fighting, but by bringing into our educational curriculum some innovative elements which can make us stay in peace. We may take long, but we can be there, because what I've discovered, everything needs innovation. Every aspect of our life needs innovation. So let us start thinking out. Let us start being innovative on how we can solve our problems of war, fighting, and politics, because they are ours. I listened to a presentation of some preacher some 20 years ago. He was saying, Africa, war is yours, stop it. And all of us, if we can try to bring in that element where we can make people understand that we don't need to fight, let us direct those efforts of fighting into food production, into innovation and other things. I think that is my presentation, but also I want to invite Madam to Kenya, especially my community. We also grow bananas of different types. When you visit Kenya, just welcome. We have a variety of them and sweet ones.
Thank you. Thank you. You're all so wonderful. I've never been to any of the African countries, so I would love to come and taste bananas of all sorts.
Just come to Kenya. I'm in Nairobi.
Well, maybe I can. Who knows? One day I would love to. Let's set the intention to meet. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your input there, Dr. Caleb Magutu. Now we go to Okello Samuel.
Yes, please.
Hello,
Thank you very
good
much.
day. Good day.
Good day to you. This is Samuel Okello from Uganda again.
Yes.
I want to, are you getting me?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yes. I think to my fellow Africans, the message to be taken home is we need to begin today investing in agriculture. Personally, I am in northern Uganda, where we have been suffering from these insecurity issues for about 25 years. I was born during the war. I grew up in the war zone. Just the thing stopped in 2005. The LRA, I think most of you heard about it. Right now, as I speak, I think you got some few examples of agriculture being done within the eastern part of Uganda and some central region, but not in northern Uganda. I think currently northern Uganda is the most place where agriculture is being practiced. Few examples when you see farms, big farms like Amakions for the German guys. We have very many farms for the Indians. So the thing is all about starting it up. I heard people were like, why putting mass effort on agriculture, not other areas? I think agriculture is the backbone of in fact, Uganda and the whole Africa, not technology. Technology in Africa is still doubtful, but agriculture is actually what is being done most. So currently, as I speak, me personally, I'm a medical assistant. I have a medical facility, I'm running a medical facility, but as well doing agriculture. Today, as I speak, I have 15 acres of cassava. And last year I made 12 acres of simsim. So the message today is start today, not tomorrow. I know the problem in Africa. I've been in the war zone. I grew up in the war zone. Everything about insecurity I know. But even being displaced to other to the camps and other places, still you can practice agriculture. I remember way back in the year 2000, when we were in displaced camp in Onyama, we were rearing pigs in the camp, in the IDP camps. So insecurity to not be an issue that it is the one, yes, it can interfere, but still you can do, maybe to a lesser extent, but it cannot stop agriculture. Those are the few things I wanted to air on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Okelo. What I would like to underline is not agriculture per se, but it's integrated farming and innovative agriculture is what I would like to propose. So traditional agriculture is, yeah, I mean, like yields are low, it's dependent on chemicals, and produce is not organic. But when you use integrated farming or permaculture or organic farming, these are new ideas all over the world, not only in Africa. And I don't know how many people are trained enough in integrated farming, because what Neluyuma is showing is she's not only going and planting and waiting. She says she divides the land into 4 pieces and she's using the byproduct of one section as the input of the next. So that's why she's using this integrated production technique, which requires knowledge. It's not something that any farmer can do. That's what I'm proposing as the innovation in agriculture. I'm not saying everybody should do agriculture. No, what I'm saying is it requires a lot of learning, training, and it is possible because with communication so easily accessible, knowledge is everywhere. And these people are presenting, providing this knowledge for people to use. That's what I'm saying. The innovation is in the knowledge and in the application of knowledge of integrated farming. I mean, she's a millionaire from 1 acre of land. So if I were you, I would just contact her.
Thank you.
And someone has proposed a presentation on impact of war and migration on agricultural innovation. I think that's beyond my scope, because, you know, impact of war it's such a diverse topic. It's such a large scale topic. I can give it a try, but I don't know how much of a positive aspect I can find. I mean, if I take the Second World War, from the Second World War, all the governmental war research, when used in common life after the Second World War, gave birth to internet, gave birth to all the technologies that we're using today. So, but in the African case, I'm not, that's not my field. So it would be, I wouldn't be the perfect person to study that or present that topic. But I get the feedback on the lack of security issue. But that's an issue that talks to all industries, not only agriculture. So I think it's a well-made point that needs to be addressed, but it's not my area of expertise. I'm only saying these are good examples to be paid attention to. I'm not saying disregard the security issue. No way. There's a reality. War is a reality. But despite that, there are good examples in Africa.
Okay, now we go to Kasozi. Charles, did you have something to say, a question to ask? Let me see if you can unmute your microphone. There you go.
I'm Kasozi Charles from Uganda, and I'm just a few kilometers from Naluima's farm. But when you reach there, it is really amazing. You see that this lady cannot go to the market to buy any food. Vegetables are grown there. Fish is reared there. She has animals, and when you reach there, you really see how innovative she is. And from there, she is earning a lot. She earns a lot of money from what she does, the farming itself. And now she's giving lessons. She gives lessons to other people. There is always an innovative class from the Kabaka of Buganda called Poesa, which is always done once in a year. So she always goes there. People pay a small amount of money, and then she tries to teach them how to really farm on a small piece of land. She rears the fish in just a plastic sheet. I think there are some pictures that the moderator showed us there. And then from the fish, like she said, water is then taken to the plants. And then also the wastes from the cow are also taken to the matoke, the bananas, and then she makes the worms for the chicken. She does really a lot, like the moderator has told us. It is an integrated farm on just a very small piece of land. I visited there, and when you reach there, you think like, let me start tomorrow. So that is my contribution that I wanted to give you. I don't know whether when someone goes to the Nalima's website, you can get her contacts, and then she's a very free woman, very free, and she's always ready to teach any other person so that the people can also become rich. Thank you very much. That is my presentation.
That's a very good confirmation. Thank you so much. May I ask something to people? If I were you, and if I know how to do video shootings, maybe if you could go to Neluyuma's farm and just record her while she's doing something and make a couple of training videos on how she's doing this work and start YouTubing it. Obviously, she's already teaching this thing. So if someone can film this and let it broadcast through YouTube, I'm sure people could pay for this because this is valuable information, what she's doing. So a business can be born out of this. Or I don't know, she's already a businesswoman. Why wouldn't she like to scale up? She would definitely like to scale up, but it's one thing to teach one by one versus if she turns this into a training class that she can upload on Udemy or wherever, she can have her own YouTube class, then people can just watch and learn how to raise matoke or how to do integrated farming in a very small piece of land. This is not, it doesn't require much capital. It's only, the filming. You can even do that with your phone and see if there's any results. You can start very small. You can start with 1 pig and 1 pig dung, maybe, and do the chicken thing. 2 chickens, 1 pig, 2 chickens. I don't know, something very small. That's how innovation starts. It doesn't start like with the big factory or whatever. You don't need to start like that. See what I'm saying?
I would say for purposes of this class, maybe I can leave behind my number, which is on WhatsApp. And then maybe people can jot it out. My number is +565.
Oh, you have to type that.
Okay, let me type it on the chat.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm contacted, then I can send them the videos when I visit the farm. And then another thing, like I told you, I'm just a few kilometers to Naluima's farm. I can go and then try to introduce what you're saying and give her that idea so that she can film and then put on YouTube so that other people can learn from there.
That's wonderful. Samuel is also saying there's another farm in Masaka, Uganda, another amazing story, and he has videos of it. So this is amazing. Creating a WhatsApp group, collecting this information, and broadcasting it in one way or another, turning this into smaller training videos and selling them, for very small prices. It could be done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I would like to ask just like maybe a quick question about the farm there. I would like to know, first of all, is there beekeeping and what kind of machinery do they have? Do they have tractors or is it all like with wheelbarrows? What kind of machinery do they use and do they have beekeeping?
Here they just use the beehives. I mean the bee, what are they called? They try to make a wooden cage. It's where they keep the bees from.
And on the farm there, do they have machinery like tractors? Or is it
No, they
mainly...
use basically small tools like wheelbarrows.
So it's not capital intensive.
Right.
it's not really capital intensive, being that they are farming on a very small piece of land.
That's perfect, because that speaks to women who don't have the capital. It means they can do it. They don't need big capital for that, but they need to know the knowledge. And the knowledge is very easily transmitted through YouTube. It only takes a little bit of, organization. That's it. Okay, Kasozi has shared his number, and people are sharing their numbers so they could start a WhatsApp group. This is great, people. I appreciate you all doing this. I think you're going to be starting something great here.
Elif Kalayci, do you have time to continue?
I do.
Because I see two more questions, two more hands raised.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to Ramazani Juma. Let's see, go ahead and unmute your microphone. Let me try that again. Can you unmute your microphone?
Ramazani, can you hear us?
Let me try that again.
Ramazani, can you hear us? I think you have a question, but we can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? We're ready to hear your question. We can't hear you.
No, it's not turning on. It's not activating.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Maybe if you can write your question or comment in chat, we can respond to it there. And let's go on to. Go ahead.
Is anyone taking down these numbers, or are we just going to lose the chat with all the phone information written down once the recording is over? I'm not sure if the chat is.
The chat will not be on the recording.
Yeah, so we're going to be losing all these numbers. I don't know how. Maybe we should just take pictures of them or something.
Yeah, take pictures of them.
Well,
I think there will be a transcript, so that what's in chat will be on a transcript.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
But that would have to be a special request for that.
Oh, I see. Well, if someone would be in charge of this group, then I don't know, then that person might be getting a little bit more money when they start making dollars with that business.
Yeah, just to kind of summarize a point here is that you're saying there's 30 million entrepreneurs that will come out of Africa.
No, it's not 30 million entrepreneurs. It's 30 million customers who will be buying the innovative products that will be provided to the market. The size of the demand, the size of the market is initially 30 million, but the total market is 1.2 billion. That is theoretically, of course, not every single person buys it, but theoretically speaking. So 30 million is the demand side. The supply side, I don't have numbers for that, but it's definitely much lower than that. So it's a two-sided thing. That's all I'm saying.
So if you're a supplier, you've got good demand for your innovations.
Yes. And if you listen to the farm stories over here, like Kasozi, he's actually saying he's seen it with his own eyes. This woman doesn't require big capital. She's not using tractors and stuff like that. She's using wheelbarrows and only integrated farming knowledge. She's applying her knowledge to make money, and she's a millionaire. So if you could get the knowledge from her and start small with 1 pig, 2 chickens, start revolving the integrated farming thing that she has started, just learning when to do this, how to do this, why not? You don't even need big land for the pig. That's all I'm saying. I think we need to hear Adeni Tinubu now. He has a question.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone here. So I'm from Nigeria. So I'm not trying to put any question down, but I just want to add to what the first presenter just said. You know, I can buy the idea that most people in African countries are lack in leadership knowledge based on what the provenance of the economy of that country. You know, there's some countries which have a large value to the economy of that country. In similar thing, what they call both the potential buyers and the buyers and the economy of that product in the whole. You know, if we have a lapses of the productivity in one economy, it will enhance employment services. That will reduce poverty in such economy. Do you get my point? But if there is no provision for employment services and the people are not be able to get a job to do, that country is in mess. So the leadership over that country is not doing the right thing, which they're meant to do as a leader of such country in Africa. That's all. And we believe there's a lot of grants that people are trying to grant to such African countries throughout the whole world, which they can take advantage of such grants in their country. Thank you.
Thank you. Onovapoma. Would you like
Thank
to
you.
unmute?
Thank you. First of all, I have taken the snapshot of the numbers. So after this section, I'm going to be forming the WhatsApp group just to let us know if you are interested. You can share your number with the permission of the authorities, Dr. Lambert, if he's allowing me to do that. I don't know the procedure. So we need to know what the university is supposed to allow us to do. So I need to hear from him. Number two.
Well, let me respond to that really fast. Is that yes, share numbers, get together, form groups, be successful, innovate together. Together, you're going to be more powerful. Do it.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
I didn't quite hear about the piggery. My network was just bouncing. Could you share more light on the piggery and the dung?
What she's doing is she has
Please.
these 100 pigs. It doesn't necessarily have to be 100, but she gets the
Network is gone
dung
again.
from, she has the pig dung, okay? The
Did you
pig.
get me? Yes, yeah, and then there was, you were saying it didn't cost how much. You know, I lost you there because I'm interested in that piggery farm.
Well, I didn't cover the costs, but you can go to her website and you can check the numbers. But what she's doing is she's getting the pig dung and she lets the flies lay eggs. You know, when you leave it out in the open, flies come to the dung anyways. And after 6 to 8 hours, they hatch, the maggots hatch. And she gets the maggots from and feeds them to the chicken. So it's free food to the chicken. Then she puts worms to the pig dung. Then the worms start eating the dung and start secreting excretion. You know, the dung from the worms become very valuable fertilizer. I know in Turkey they're using it as well. It's extremely precious. I mean, in terms of nutrition to the soil. It's an expensive fertilizer, organic fertilizer. So it goes at very high prices. So you can go and check
Oh.
out all this. She has cattle, and then she has chicken, then she has fish. So she takes the output of one section, she uses as input to the other section. So it's a circular system. That's why it's integrated. Okay, so you need to go to her farm website. She has all that information over there. You can check out the TED Talk. There's tons of information you can get off the net from her name only.
I just put into chat a link to YouTube videos about her.
Thank
There's
you.
there's quite a few.
Yes.
And also
yes.
that TED Talk is there.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, it's so easily accessible. You can just go, and if you want to reach her, you can type an email and attend to her trainings, maybe, I don't know, by WhatsApp or whatever, YouTube. I don't know. So you can do that. Did we lose him? Anyway, so I think I'm not sure if we covered all questions, but I tried to do my best. And these numbers have been collected by, I forgot the name, by O. Let me call him O. His name was starting with O. So let me make a call. If you would like to have a specific piece of information researched, please send me an email. And for the next session, if you would like to have a next session, I'm going to work on it and try to cover it under the heading of innovation and whatever you guys are willing for me to cover. If it's within my area of expertise, I would love to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to go on with my own agenda with maybe healthcare, because healthcare is a big time topic when you talk about innovation, or finance, or education. These are big sectors of opportunity for innovation. So I gave my email already, and if you have certain topics you want me to talk about, to do some research, because you guys are busy doing your work, but I have time to cover all this, and I can do it. So I'm open to suggestions, okay? But like war, impact of war and migration, those are way too large topics for me to address. I'm only looking at things from the innovation perspective, okay? So I'll do my best. If you know, I can give it a try, but please, in the topic section, write innovation, because I get so much spam mail. I got so much, like, you know, people from all over the places. I need to know it's you, AIU people. Okay, either write AIU or innovation in the topic so that I know it's you. Otherwise, I'm just going to delete it, not opening it. Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, I
It's
think
been a
that's a
pleasure.
great plan to look at also healthcare.
Yeah.
Because a lot of innovation potential there, a lot.
Yeah, I saw a number of stories and I was like, which one do I go by? So then I said, okay, let's go with agriculture, and then next we can do that. And it's a lot, and you don't even need to be a doctor to do innovation in healthcare for Africa. Oh,
and
okay.
then you're going to see lots of examples of people doing innovative healthcare.
Yes.
And then you'll go to education, and there's a lot there.
Yes, it's just opportunities. So it's the time of Africa right now. We're talking Africa big time.
You know, one thing that we're doing with this artificial intelligence is that you can ask questions to artificial intelligence. And let's say you want to raise some funds to do something for the society or for your community. You can ask artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, to write this letter for you to raise funds. And then you have to edit it to your own voice and to your own, it'll get you started to writing letters to actually ask for money for your projects. And as you start developing these skills of writing and asking for money and putting together your projects and your plans and organizing, you start really moving forward with actually making money and doing the work that needs to be done. So we can help you with that. Just let us know. Looks like we have another question here, or no?
People were asking for the email and I sent it again. Oh, Dr. Lambert, they're asking your email.
Okay. I can do that.
Okay, so I think, oh, there's Onovo Poma. Yeah, go ahead, unmute yourself if you have your question.
I just wanted Dr. Lambert to share the YouTube again because I lost the network and the YouTube he typed before disappeared.
There, I just put it back in.
There you go. Yeah, he put it again. Professor Fidelis.
And it's interesting. You'll see other videos there on how to do integrated farming in different, like I saw one for fish and coconuts. And it was like, wow, that's great.
Professor Fidelis. We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
Unmute.
There you go.
Yes, thank you, presenter. I am impressed with your understanding and with reassuring us that humanity is the same. This is one problem we Africans have to drum into our ears, that humanity is the same. What happens in Africa happens in Europe. We are the same people. Is only a difference of color, which is accidental. So it's quite impressive to also realize that Africa is the hope of humanity when it comes to agriculture and farming. And one comment to add to what has been said already is that our leaders have failed us. Even as I speak here, some of us who are in this forum, if we're given opportunities to lead Africa, we might also make the same mistakes. We might also allow Africa to keep perishing the way it's going. But I think if the UN is interested in providing food for the world, through any agency it desires to use, there could be positive changes. I still think that the UN is not living up to its to the expectation. It's not living up to the standard. There seems to be contractors in the UN because agriculture should have been primary in whatever plans they have for each year, because people have to eat to be alive. If we have to face this reality, the UN should actually declare its presence in every country that is a member and be able to support agriculture and integrated farming in order to minimize the immigration problem that people are having, or migration problems that are enveloping the world today. I would also want to ask Dr. Lambert, if we have to make requests for funds from organizations, will AIU help us to push the funds in order to embark on projects that could bring about innovation in agriculture and or healthcare? Thank you.
Let me answer that real fast, just for a second.
Yes.
I don't want to take up too much time. Yes, we can help you set up the grants, write the grants, find grant organizations to write to. And yes, we can write letters for you, recommendations. We can help you put together projects. Yes, we can get involved. We would love to get involved in those projects and help you get that funding to the projects you need. So yes.
Okay, cool. That's
And
great. Thank you so
Elif
much.
Kalayci, do you also have an organization that helps with funding grants and things like that?
I mean, there's a lot of organizations. I'm not personally subscribing to a specific one, but what's important when you're writing grants is the coherence of the whole idea. Like, where are you going to use the money, how it's going to be allocated, the business model or the project model is what they're going to be looking after. Is it doable? Is it feasible? Is it within the budget? Is it within the time frame? Does it make sense? Is there a demand for it? There are so many questions. So before writing up the grant, you need to look at it from the grant analyzer's perspective and write it up that way. Okay, so you're not writing a story there. Yes, eventually it's going to be an inspiring story, obviously, because if they call you for a presentation, you need to make it very inspiring and confidently presented. But what matters is numbers. Do they add up? You're going to be asking for money, and that money, how is it going to be spent? And the time frame, the whole thing, how does it tie together? And is there a demand in the markets? So all of that needs to be put together. But I'm sure, I mean, you can find resources to help you with that kind of thing. Okay, I think we're done. Do we have any more questions?
I'm just gonna, one thing I can put in YouTube, I did another search on how to write a grant proposal right there. So you'll see a lot of videos on how to write a grant proposal. Just start watching videos, educate yourself on different concepts that are involved, and start building the skill, the desire to write a grant proposal.
For the Denluyama farm or integrated farming training, you can ask for a grant proposal if you want that kind of a training business. I'm sure people will, because it's not going to cost you a lot. What it takes is time, and time, of course, is money, but from the sense of investment, you don't need to put in the money, you just need to put in the time. So if anybody would like to do that, I think it's pretty doable. You can get started and we can work on it.
All right. So, Elif Kalayci, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Look, we've gone almost another 2 hours. So, and this was just on agriculture. And you have so much more to present into the future and so much more to research and bring to the students. We look forward to your future presentations, seriously.
Thank you. I enjoy this so much. I'm learning so much. And I'm so embarrassed that I know so little about Africa, but it's such a blessing that I'm learning all this because you all are letting me do this. So I need to thank you, each one of you, for giving me the opportunity to learn and share it with you, because I mean, you guys are so lucky, you have no idea. Being where you are at this time of the world, Africa is going to shine in the next 10 to 15 years. So you are blessed. So you have to make the most of it. Thank you.
So on that note, we'll open up, everybody will now be able to unmute your microphones and say thank you and bye to Elif Kalayci.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
So much. I've enjoyed this.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a good one.
All right, thank you. We'll catch up again.
Bye.
Very insightful. Very insightful presentation.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Same time.
See you tomorrow, same time tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Orban.